then there's actually one specific question that has been asked multiple times is doing business together as a couple.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And how has that been good or bad? Right.
So, I mean, for me, like when Jerry even started doing this type of business, like when he, before all of that shit show happened, I was so sensitive.
Yeah.
I mean, I was so sensitive, little guy. Mm-hmm. And I had a really hard time with Jerry working all the time, like all the time, right? Because I'm used to like, once I'm done, I'm done. Like I can leave work at work. Mm-hmm. But with Jerry's type of business, like you are working all the time.
Right.
And Jer, like, I think we like kind of got in a fight about it because I was just frustrated. I'm just like, I want to spend time with you and I want to do these things. Mm-hmm. And like, we were still learning balance and all that. Right. But he literally was just like, look, like I'm trying to build this for our family. I'm trying to like grind and work my ass off so that way we can have X, Y, and Z in the future. Mm-hmm. And if you can't do this with me, if you can't, like be able to like handle that and support that with me, then like it's not gonna work. And I was just like, fuck. Like I mean and like I'm sure there's way more to the conversation, but like it really did hit me because I was just like, shit, like he's like, you're right. Yeah. Like I gotta like pull my shit together and like allow like the space and like like give you the space to work and like just like trusting in you that you will also like balance our marriage and balance our time together and like whatever. And so I think that's kind of like what like started it. But now that we're in it, like as like a wife, wait, what was the question again?
Like how do you balance work and marriage?
Right. Yeah. As a wife, like of someone who does entrepreneurship and works all the time and pays people's livelihoods and is building and constantly doing and working, he is constantly thinking and doing for all these other people. And so I feel like where I can balance all that is making sure that like you're taken care of, right? And on top of it, making sure everything else is taken care of on the backside. Yeah. But I think, and two, like our communication, I think has been number one key.
Yeah.
And like, I think we both trust each other and value each other's opinion wholeheartedly in the business. Like we both look at each other before we look at anybody else and like, what do you think about this? Or what do you, what do you think we should structure this way? Or, and I've learned a lot about the business just watching you and listening to you and like you're bouncing ideas off me. And so then when I like came on to Alpha full time with you, I think that's what really helped is because like we have already like tried to learn that balance before I was like full on. Yeah. Cause I was doing hair up until like a year ago.
Right. Yeah. You're just doing like kind of,
Yeah. And I would just like listen to what's going on. Right. But also like with how much time Jared spends with the business, like we talked about this, like we spend more time with each other if I'm involved.
Yes. Yeah.
It's true. Like if I'm just at home all day, like I don't see this guy till like, 6 or 7 and he's gone doing or whatever. And then when he comes home and he's working. So it's like, I personally love it. I do too. I love doing it with you. Well, I think I couldn't imagine not being involved.
I think the best part about it is that number one, above all, you like, it's one thing for me to come home from work and explain to you what happened at work. It's another thing for you to be there and experience it with me. Yeah. And so exactly what's happening. So it's not like I have to come home and explain what's happening, at work.
Because then you're just reiterating everything. And by the time you get home, you're exhausted. Yeah. And I'm exhausted. But like we both know what's going on. We both do it together. We both are like,
which has made it better.
And I think it's made it easier.
I agree. Yeah. You got a little question.
Well, someone said, what are each of your roles in the business? Well, Daddy's CEO, so he's Big Papa.
I'm CEO.
Dude, I don't even know. When people ask me that what my role is, I'm just like, you name it.
Everything.
You name it.
That's the thing's like, your role is to do anything and everything we need to do,
Yeah, like I was the bitch on AlphaCon.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I whipped that shit together.
Everyone who talked to me about AlphaCon, it was this woman right here who put that shit together, right?
Yeah, and with the help
dealing
of
with the protesters,
for sure. But oh my gosh, like I was just talking to someone last night at Keaton's. I was just like, they were just like raving about like AlphaCon. It was so awesome. I'm like, as long as it looks so good from your guys' perspective,
because from the back end,
because on the back end we had like radios, man. I was just like, wait, where this bitch is where? Like, I mean, we had security, it was crazy, but it was amazing. Yeah. So yeah, I just do like all of our event planning, basically like just help Jared delegate like that's what I'm saying. Anything and everything, you name it, I do it. There you go. Mama does it. Yeah, she does. So all the apparel line, all our merch.
soon.
Freak. Like, I can't even think. I don't know.
Yeah.
Everything.
That's a lot, man. What other question we get? Let's do one more. One more question.
I don't even know. Did you get any on yours?
Well, I know. I mean, you got
a lot of people are just asking about like how you're doing business. People
are asking if you can take her on a date. No.
Hey, that was listen.
Just Sheridan.
That was something Dina girl. She can take me on a date anytime.
Yeah.
What was your reaction to Jared dropping out of college? I literally said, Jared, if you're not gonna freaking go to school and do your homework, what are you doing?
Oh, yeah,
like,
I wasn't going. Yeah.
I didn't encourage it. Like, had he been going and like giving it 100%, I would have supported it. But at the same time, like, homeboy wasn't going to class, and then we'd be laying in bed at like 11 o'clock or midnight, or like 11 o'clock, and he's like, oh shit, I got my paper due at midnight, and I'm like, Jared, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Anyway, so
colleges.
That wasn't really. I really don't care because I dropped out of high school. So what do you do?
Yeah. Yeah. You can.
This is a good one. It's, with 2 alphas.
I was just reading that.
I think because I mean you both definitely hard-headed people.
Yeah.
So how does that?
So the questions with 2 alphas in a marriage: what areas are you each the alpha in?
Well, in the bedroom. We switch off. No.
That's so funny.
With 2 alphas in a marriage, you're definitely a chief. There's no doubt about that, right? You like, and it's funny because when I first, got married, your mom always told me you're dating a chief. It's like she's a leader. I'm like, yeah, I can tell that, But where does it balance? Where does it balance that we're both?
You answer that. I feel like I've just been answering all the questions. You just get on there.
Well, what's funny is when it comes like 2 alphas in a marriage, or like I married a leader, right? I married a leader. And to me, it's exciting to watch you be a leader, right? It's exciting for me to watch you step into that. And I think when you do step into that, you're a lot happier, right? I think the balance is knowing that neither one of us is telling each other, like bossing the other one around, right?
Well, and
but we're bossing, like basically we've been able to direct our energy together on one really massive thing,
Well, and I think too that like, when they say like, how is it with like 2 alphas in a marriage? I feel like that's looking at like an alpha, like I'm the boss and you're gonna do whatever. Like that's not how we look at like an alpha. Like we look at alphas like leadership, like, doing, serving, doing what you're like, what others can't do, doing, whatever you need to do to help those who, are in need. Like, and I think me and you both genuinely get happiness through serving others. I think that's why we thrive so well is because, and I think too, like we hold space for each other, enough space for each other to like thrive in those positions where like, I see you as a provider and I see you, as a boss and you're running this business and you're doing all these things. But like also like when we have kids, like that's probably where it's going to like come out more with me of like the alpha side, because like I am super intuitive with that. And I will, you know what I mean? Like I already know how I'll be as a mom. So it's like, there's like a lot of traits I think with me and you that like we both just hold space for us to thrive in those positions. And running the business together, I mean, you both have to be leaders. You have to be a leader to do what we do.
Right. Yeah.
So
true.
Yeah.
That's a good answer, babe.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
If there's one more thing you want to tell the audience, babe, what would it be?
Oh, about what? Which
anything?
part?
Well, one more message. One more thing you can tell the audience.
Let me think. Oh no, that's a tough one, babe.
Gut reaction. What's the first thing that comes to your mind?
You know what? I think it's like as a woman in this industry with you and being married to someone like you, I think it is extremely important to, and as a wife, to dive in and really, really understand who you are and where your power is as a woman. Because there's so much value and balance you bring to a marriage, especially being married to an entrepreneur, that there's so many powerful traits that I think have also like helped us succeed with how I've stepped into our marriage as your wife and being supportive and doing all these things. So I think just really, really learning, because like, that I've like been doing like a ton of like inner work and like really, really working through like traumas and figuring out who I am and like what my strengths are. And I think doing that has been like the biggest blessing, because I really, really have been like, I've allowed myself to step into like a true feminine alpha leader, you know what I mean, in our marriage, in our business, and knowing that like, and like being okay with that and being comfortable with it and not feeling like everything else overpowers you. So like as a wife in this industry, I think if I could say anything, I think you just be so confident in being a woman and being powerful and being a leader, because I think it just adds so much to like what we do.